What's up guys, and welcome back to Move Plus. I hope you've had a good day so far. But as for now, we're gonna look at that warm-up. So first 2 minutes of this warm-up is gonna be any cardio of your choice. You can pick and choose whatever you want. You can mix and match, that's cool. We're gonna go 2 separate drills for this one. So we're gonna go 20 seconds on jumping jacks, which is gonna look like this. And then we're gonna go 20 seconds on running high knees, which is like this. And those two things will just go back and forth for the 2 minutes. From there, the next 3 minutes, what we'll do each minute is start off with 50 skips. So setting ourselves up with the rope and moving through 50 reps of just a regular single under. Once you've finished that, whatever time is left out of that 60-second block, you're gonna do max lunges. So stepping forwards or backwards, whichever you prefer, going knee to ground. You good to go, Em? All right, so we are starting in 10, going with that 2-minute block of cardio to start it up. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So we've picked 2 different movements with this, guys, and you can either do this as like reps of one, or we're going with like a timer today, so it's 20 seconds of one, 20 seconds of the other. That way it kind of makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to count reps, you just glance at the clock every now and then. When it hits the 20-second marker, you switch to the other movement. So jumping jacks the first one, and going into running high knees now. So looking at getting the knees up at about hip height. When we get to the 40-second marker, then we'll switch back again. So this one's going to be especially good for getting the legs and the calves nice and warmed up. So we'll just wait for the 40-second marker there. So yeah, we'll go for 20-second blocks. Yeah. Yeah. Ready, and go for it. So into those jumping jacks again. So feet are going in and out. Arms are going to go from a hand contact on the thighs to a hand reach over the top. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and back on running high knees. So you guys can pick and choose, mix and match whatever you want, guys. You can keep changing movements throughout the whole 2 minutes if you want to. It doesn't matter as long as they're nice and straightforward, and it allows you to gradually increase that body temperature and that heart rate. 5 more seconds. And back on jumping jacks. So this will be last cycle through these 2 movements, and then we go to that 3-minute section. So remember, each of those 3 minutes has 50 skips and as many lunges as you can fit in remaining time. Good. 5 more seconds. And running high knees one more time. Ten seconds. Okay, we'll start getting that rope ready for the next piece. 3, 2, 1, and going 50 skips into max lunges each minute for the next 3 minutes. So thinking about nice tall posture, guys. If you find you're someone that tends to kind of hinge at the hip or tuck the legs up, try and spring nice and tall. Keep the body stacked in one straight line. And try and avoid that really inefficient kind of heavy jumping, heavy tucking kind of a movement. And just use that nice springy reflex through the legs and the calves. So once we've hit our 50, we go into our lunges. So she's got sort of about 20 seconds to start clocking up some lunges here. So nice long step forwards or backwards, staying nice and tall. If you have the space to do it, you can also do them walking as well. So that's up to you. We're gonna go 10 more seconds, and then we'll head back to that rope. Alrighty, back on the rope again, so another 50 single unders. Now, if you don't happen to have a rope, guys, just some jumps on the spot are fine. You can even do the penguin taps if you want to kind of mimic the rhythm of the rope and getting that timing down. If you happen to have a small step or a little ledge or something, you can jump on and off that as well. We're hopefully going to see the 50 take sort of 30, maybe 40 seconds, thereabouts. And that way it gives you a little bit of time to go through those lunges. If it's taking you the whole minute, probably chop it back a little bit. Make sure you get both movements per minute. All right, and those lunges again. So keeping the body nice and upright, make sure we're not leaning on that front leg or pressing off the front leg with the hands. Gonna go 10 more seconds. Good. All right, and back on the rope one last time. So last minute of the warm-up, another 50 skips, and then into those lunges again. So we just mentioned the body positioning. Let's also think about like hand and arm positioning. If you find you're doing big wheeling kind of shoulder motions, or you're doing big bicep curls to move that rope, try to minimize it down to just a little elbow wrist flick, like tiny little movement, nice and efficient so you're not burning too much energy up. All right, into the last little lunges. Good, 10 more seconds of the warm-up. 3, 2, 1, and done. All right, that is the warm-up done, guys. Have a little bit of recovery time, and then we're gonna move into the move workout next. Alrighty guys, we're having a look at the move workout now. So this one is 12 minutes long, and we have an EMOM format on this one. So each minute we have a designated workload we're gonna go through. Minute 1, we're gonna be doing 50 seconds on, 10 seconds off on burpees. So that's gonna look like this. So coming down, chest to ground, popping up, and then jumping at the top there. The next minute, same format of 50 on, 10 off. We're gonna do alternating sit-throughs. So with this one, we take a kind of a bear crawl kind of a position, and then we're stepping and bringing the leg through, back to that starting position again. The third minute, same format again, 50 on, 10 off on lunges. So these can be forward, backward, walking, whatever you prefer is fine. Just bring that knee to ground, and then the fourth minute there is gonna be quad heel taps, again, in that same 50 on, 10 off kind of format. Okay, so we go through this for 12 minutes. Em, you good to go? Yep. All right, we are starting in 10. Burpees are up first. I'm gonna try and fill up the 50 seconds with as much work as you can. And go for it. So this being 12 minutes, guys, it is on the longer side, so you wanna think about kind of pacing, controlling your output. I always like to think about counting the reps as well, so you can kind of, from round to round, know what kind of pace you're sitting on. Am I doing 10 burpees a minute? Am I doing 12 or 15 burpees a minute? And that way, each round you do, you know what to kind of aim for and where you are relative to previous rounds. So with this movement, guys, we want to go from a standing start to hands on the ground. We drop ourselves down flat, chest to ground. Does not have to be a strict push-up, although a level of control is good just to kind of guide us in. You can see Em's got a nice controlled kind of roll down, roll up. And then once she's popped up onto the feet, she's going to go to a jump and a hand contact above or behind the head. 3, 2, 1. So 10-second rest here. Then we move to the second minute, which is those alternating sit-throughs. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. Okay, so with this one, guys, this does take a fair bit of balance and coordination. So if you haven't done this one much before, if you've not done it at all, go slow, take the time to figure out the balance. It's a little bit like playing a game of Twister. You got to try to get the limbs in the right spot there, make sure your body is centered in the middle, okay, and break it up as you need to. This will get pretty spicy. Now the start position is kind of like halfway between like a push-up and a bear crawl kind of a position. So you're on all fours. We step and then bring the leg through and then bring it back to the start. Step, come through, back to the start there. So a lot of it is about shoulder stability and balance through there. When you end up on just one hand and one foot, as you do that transition through, it does get pretty wobbly. So you want to make sure you stay secure with that one and control the movement. 3, 2, 1. Okay, resting. So another 10-second rest. We move to lunges next. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So as I mentioned before, guys, you can do these any which way you want. So you might find that you're doing a step forward like Em is. You can do a step back if you prefer that. If you have the space to, you can do them walking in a straight line. The main thing is that all the characteristics of it kind of remain the same, and that is you're lightly touching the knee to the ground. You're keeping the posture nice and upright every rep. And making sure that the foot that comes out in front, we have the knee stacked over the ankle. So it's nice and square, and that knee is going to track with the toe. We don't want it to collapse inwards. Good, 15 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and taking a 10-second rest. So we go to quad heel taps for this fourth movement, and then we'll be cycling back around. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So this one, guys, we're in a bear crawl position, so it is hands and feet with the knees quite low to the ground. So this is kind of an intentional kind of stress position. It's going to make you really work hard through the legs and the trunk and the shoulders. As we go through this, you're going opposite hand to foot, just tapping your left hand to your right foot and vice versa. As you go through it, you're going to really try and work hard to keep the body sort of as still and as centered as possible, because very similar to the sit-throughs, there'll be a lot of balance involved with this one, trying to coordinate that the body stays right in the middle there. Three, 2, 1, and resting. All right, so that's one full cycle through, guys. We come back around to the burpees again. So there'll be 2 more full rounds of this. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So this is another one of those movements, guys, that you want to kind of have a think about what the floor situation is, right? If you're just on carpet or something like that, it's fine. Maybe if you're on grass, that's fairly soft. But if you are on bricks or concrete tiles or something like that, that's going to scuff the knees, scuff the hands, get a yoga mat, get a bit of soft foam rubber matting like this one, whatever you've got to just allow the body to be able to come down nicely without scratching the knees up. Makes the whole workout a little bit more enjoyable. Also don't want to be getting little stones and things in your hands if you're on pavement or something like that. And resting. Okay, so we move to the alternating sit-throughs on the next one. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So when M comes through to this end position here, so she brings the leg all the way through to there. You can see she's just touching the side of her butt to the ground, and that's almost like a marker that she's completed the rep, right? So she touches down, you can see that leg's at full extension. And that's kind of her mental check, like, yep, I've gone far enough. I swing back to the start again. Three, 2, 1, and resting. So moving to lunges next. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So this third minute here, guys, is a fairly important one. If you look at the other 3 movements, they're very arm, shoulder, kind of trunk driven. So we're in the ground position for the burpees, we're in the ground position for the sit-throughs, quad heel taps the same. So a lot of shoulder work through there, which is great, but they are gonna get tired. So this round is gonna be really important to kind of, as you're moving through the lunges, just try and get those arms shaken out, get that lactic acid out of them, give them that little bit of recovery time. Because we only have that 10-second little rest at the end of each minute versus like a full rest round. The shoulders are gonna get real spicy, so take advantage of this round, just to kind of let them rest, put all the work on the legs, and that way when we come back around into those quad heel taps in a moment, we're going to have those shoulders a little bit more fresh. All right, ready, and go for it. And one of the things that will generally happen with this movement when you get tired and the body's trying to escape that discomfort is that it will start to straighten the knees and pitch the hips up really, really high. You'll start to push your body back behind the hands rather than staying over the top of them. So you want to keep just checking in, are my knees about 1 inch or 2 off the ground, or am I starting to get really, really high up through the body? You want to make sure we stay low and keep the shoulders over the top of the hands. Doing a good job, Em. 3, 2, 1, and resting. All right, so it's our second full cycle through, guys. We've got one more to take us up to 12 minutes. So we'll come back around on the burpees. Ready, set, and go for it. So you want to really try and refine that technique of kind of, once the feet hit the ground at the back there, go knees first, thighs, hips, stomach, chest, and get that nice smooth roll in and out. That will take a fair bit of the workload off the arms. If you've ever tried doing a burpee with a strict push-up, they run out pretty quick. So allow yourself that ability to kind of soften the body just a touch. As I said, we still want to be active, but we want to take advantage of the fact that we can kind of roll down and roll up. Let me get that nice upright position at the top. So we want to contact the hands above or behind the head, guys, but we also want to be nice and open through the hips. So make sure you're not staying kind of leaned over and crowded through the hips there. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and resting. Okay, so that's the burpees done. We've got 3 minutes of work left. We've got alternating sit-throughs on the next one. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. Nice, Sam, doing good. So really, we want to take that effort to kind of pivot the feet as we do this. Allow yourself to kind of work with the momentum of the movement. Em's shoulders are getting to a dangerous level of pump right now. It's just jacked. Good, 10 more seconds. Good, 3, 2, 1, and resting. All right, lunges are next. So this is the little reprieve for the shoulders. And get the legs to do some work. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So we're getting to that deep level of fatigue, guys. We're late in the workout now. Check in that the positions are right. Is that shin at the front nice and vertical? Is the back foot coming up onto the ball of foot and staying nice and straight, or is it collapsing inwards? Okay, we don't want to be twisting on those knees. It's a hinge joint. We don't want it to be rotating on the wrong angle. And not fallen for that trap of starting to put the hands on the knees and leaning forward to support herself. She's making the body work for it, keeping that posture nice and tall. Three, 2, 1, and resting. All right, about to roll in the final minute, guys. So quad heel taps will take us to the end. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So again, really looking at control and keeping the body as static as possible in the middle there. There'll obviously be a little bit of like rotation on the spot. What we're trying to fight is like a sway. So big body movements rolling back and forth. Trying to keep it nice and tight. Doing good, Em, almost there. Got 15 seconds. Last couple of reps. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and done. Nice work, Em. Alrighty, guys, that is the move part done. Have a little bit of recovery time, get some water in, and then we're going to check out the finisher next. All right, guys, we're checking out the finisher now. So looking at some direct arm work. How this one is going to be structured is we have 4 sets, and we're going to be following the time format of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Now, there's 2 movements on this, so this will take 4 minutes in total. What we're going to start off with is a single dumbbell curl. So from here, bringing the dumbbell up to about chest height and then back down to a nice straight arm position. Okay, we do that for 20 seconds, rest for 10. Then the other movement is a lying tricep extension. So we come down to the ground, holding onto either head of the dumbbell again, and we're doing basically kind of a similar kind of thing. We bend the arms into a nice deep arm bend. Okay, we're bringing the dumbbell just above kind of the headline there and then pressing up to lock out. So going from biceps to triceps. You good to go, Em? Yep. Starting in 10. Okay, going in 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So main thing to remember with both of these movements, guys, is they are strict movements. So we don't want to see any kind of momentum, any swinging of the body or anything like that. We want to keep them nice and strict and dial in just those particular muscle groups that we wanted to go for. So this one we want to see nice full extension. And then as I said, about chest height is high enough at the top there. And resting. Okay, we'll come down to the ground for the tricep extension. 3, 2, 1. So with this one, guys, we start with the dumbbell kind of pointed up at the roof. You might even have it just slightly back a little bit so it kind of sits just above your forehead. And then we're going to lower it down, trying to keep the upper arm still. So we're just dialing into movement just at the elbow, comes down just above the head and then presses back up to lockout. And resting, so coming back up again for the bicep curls. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So the reason why I say, guys, bring it to chest height, sometimes you'll see people do these curls and they come right up onto the shoulders here. You can see what's happened with my arms. When I go past there, I get to actually switch those muscles off and rest because I almost get into like a front rack position. I want to keep tension on, so that's why we're going to stop in that position where the contraction's at its maximum. All right, resting, come back down again. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. Now, obviously, safety being a really important thing here, guys. We want to make sure you do this at a weight and at a tempo that you can control. Obviously, coming so close to the head, we want to make sure that we're not going to come down and clunk ourselves in the forehead or anything like that. So make sure you're picking something appropriate. And resting. Okay, halfway through, guys, we're going to go back on the curls again. Get into this 3rd minute. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. I really like the idea of having the shoulder blades active as well in this, guys. So you want to kind of draw back, make sure we're not getting into sort of like a internally rotated position. Think posture with everything that we do. Three, 2, 1, and resting. 3, 2, 1, and going for tricep extensions. So really looking at the back of the upper arm here, guys, that tricep muscle. So this is going to help with all of our, push-ups, burpees, any kind of pressing movement that we do is definitely going to benefit from this. 3, 2, 1, and come back up again. All right, so we're going to roll into the final minute of this finisher, guys. Going to go back on the curls one last time. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. Now, really important, guys, you want to make sure at the bottom, you see how Em's really making an effort to straighten her arms as far down as she can, right? We want to think about a nice full range of motion through the joint there. We don't want to be kind of stuck in this mid-range here and just kind of pumping away. We want to make sure the elbows are nice and healthy and we keep that good flexibility through the biceps there. Resting, come down to the last one. 3, 2, 1, and go for it. So sometimes this movement can require you to kind of adjust where your arms are so you can get into a deep elbow bend. So like I just discussed with the bicep curl, big range of motion is what we're after. We don't want to be kind of stuck in just kind of like a short little dip. We want to make sure we stretch right down, coming above the head. All right, resting. Nice work. All right, that is the finisher done, guys. Have a little bit of rest, and then we're going to finish off with some cool down mobility work. Alrighty, guys, so we finished up with all the hard stuff. We're just going to cool things down now with a little bit of mobility. So the first drill we're going to do is pass-throughs. We're going to do this for the next 60 seconds. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. We've got the skipping rope that we use within the workout today. So all we're going to do is kind of tension that out, and then we go from front to back over the top of the head there, going around the body. Now you can do this with a PVC if you have that, a broomstick, a mop stick, anything like that. Even if you've got like a belt or something, anything that you can kind of just tension your arms on and then run it from front to back. If you don't have anything at all, guys, you can literally just do the arm circles. That will work just nicely. We're just wanting to get really sort of into like pecs, shoulders, biceps, everything like that. Just loosen it up. The narrower you go, the more testing it is, so you need to have more flexibility to do that. So if you're really, really tight, go out really, really wide, and then over time you can kind of centimeter by centimeter just creep it in a little bit. It's just a nice slow tempo. You see that M comes right down to sort of the top of her butt at the back of it. And we just keep that in motion the whole time. All right, so second drill we're gonna do, guys, is what we call a baby maker. So we're gonna set ourselves up in a squat stance. We're gonna grab onto the toes and we're just gonna go up and down through the hips. Okay, so high hamstring stretch at the top there, and then just getting down to that nice squat position at the bottom. We're gonna do our best to kind of keep our arms as inside the legs as possible. So we kind of flare the knees out, encourage that really nice squat position. For some of you, this might be really challenging if your ankles and knees and hips, everything's a bit kind of bound up. So you can grab onto, say, like the leg of a dining room table or the edge of a door frame. You can use that as a little bit of a counterweight, counterbalance. Hold onto that in front of you, and then you can move through the stretch. Ultimately, we want to get to where M is here, where she can just hang onto the toes and move up and down, in and out of that one, driving those knees out each time. So go 10 more seconds. All right. Okay, so those are the two drills, guys. Let's take some time to really loosen up. So see if you can get 3 or 4 rounds of that, or whatever you have time to do. Give the body some time to really mobilize. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time, and that's been your MOV+ workout.